Hello, welcome. Today we're going to be debunking a myth, and I'm going to start it off with a really clear statement, which is your life is not meant to be constant. You are not meant to be constant. This is one of the biggest barriers that I see many of my clients bumping up against and people just struggling with when it comes to mental wellness. Let's unpack that a little bit. Before we dive on in, I want to take a moment and just introduce myself. I'm Chelsea Connors, certified life coach, former therapist, and I blend together my experience as both a therapist and a coach to start and build my mental wellness company, where we are all about making mental health and emotional well-being feel realistic, tangible, and approachable, as well as deepening the relationship that you have with yourself. What that sometimes and often looks like is talking about some of the hardest parts of life, or the shit that impacts you so much, but also sometimes feels so hard to move through or find words for. And this, what we're going to dive into today, is one of those concepts. So often, what I hear and what I see is people wanting quick fixes, step by step. If I just perfect the perfect morning routine, if I just feel happy all of the time, I want to wake up every single day feeling X, Y, or Z. And I'm going to burst your bubble here a little bit and tell you that that is not living in reality. And if as I share that you cringe a little bit or you're rolling your eyes at me, that's okay. I invite you to sit with the resistance here. And I wanted to share a little story around how this showed up for me recently. If you're new around here, my husband and I recently moved, and we've moved a lot of times over the past 6 years or so. And this time it felt really different. And one of the biggest differences that I noticed was that I was so much more okay with not feeling good the whole time. Any type of change that might be happening in your life is going to likely stir up a whole host of emotions. And so while moves in the past, I might have so much more strongly latched on to the desire to feel the same level of energy, or to feel happy more often, or to stick to my normal routines and daily practices and rituals without faltering. And I might have used that as a way to navigate or understand like how I was doing. And while there are pieces of that that have value, it felt so different this go around to recognize, hey, yeah, I'm gonna feel more tired and not have the energy or the motivation to do the same things that I usually might do. There are going to be days where I might feel filled with sadness and excitement all mixed together, where I might be overwhelmed by the details and the nuances that come with moving, and also thrilled to be standing on the outset of this next chapter of life. And I gave myself permission to feel that. And rather than fighting to constantly be the same, to have this level of stability that is unrealistic and unhelpful, what I found was that I was able to move through those ebbs and flows a lot faster, with a lot more awareness. And rather than looking for external validation, what I kept coming back to was myself. How am I feeling in this moment? What do I need today? Where can I show myself more compassion? What's something that I can do that might feel hard today, but I know in the long term might support me or benefit me? Where do I need to be a little bit easier or more gentle with myself? What conversations or help might I elicit in this moment? Those are the types of questions that you might start asking yourself where when you start to change your expectation that you are going to be this constant flatlined state all of the time. Because life comes at us in waves. It ebbs and it flows and it takes twists and turns, and stuff is happening all of the time. So when you're fighting for a constant that will never exist, rather than getting to know yourself, cultivating that relationship within, learning how to create rituals and routines and structures, which I love, by the way. I love them. I think they're all great. But being able to approach them and utilize them in ways that support you in your actual life and don't actually just feel like another container or another box to fit into that's not actually serving you and it might be causing you more stress or more strain in your life. It's like flipping a switch in how you feel. It changes the way that you see yourself. It changes the way that you engage with yourself, which therefore changes the way that you engage in the world. And when you cultivate, this is a practice truly in self-awareness and self-leadership and self-compassion and self-trust, right? All of these pieces of relationship to the self that are not easily defined, you start to feel safer in who you are, rather than clinging so tightly to control or certainty or needing things to look a specific type of way in your life, for you to come back to the knowing that you are safe, or that you are okay to be you, or that you don't have to feel constantly one way, or your life isn't always going to be this streamlined upward trajectory that's only ever feeling great and moving upwards. Instead, you get to experience the high highs and the low lows and everything in between it, which is called life, my friend. Truly. So how can you start to loosen your grip on this idea that if you are just constantly doing something, or constantly being one specific type of way, or constantly feeling something, that then all of a sudden life is going to be better? Because that's just not true. And I know this video might have burst your bubble a little bit, but I really, really value having honest conversations and setting yourself up in a way where you can learn to cultivate all of those different aspects of yourself that I just described. And if the thought of those things, and what I just talked about, maybe stirs up a lot of anxiety or a lot of questioning of yourself, that's okay. We can make space for that. And if you're wanting to learn how to take better care of yourself, go ahead to the comments below and make sure that you download my free calibration practice, which is a 5-step practice that will invite you in an organized way so you can learn the practice, but with enough flexibility where your practice moves with you and is amenable to the demands and the changes and the ebbs and the flows of your life. Make sure that you grab that. I will talk to you next time. Much love. Keep flowing.